Thank you for inviting me along today. My name is Tracey Simpson-Laing. I'm the CEO of Home Start Leeds. I've spent nearly 30 years working in the third sector, 7 of those here in Leeds, I'm really happy to say, and I've been a resident of Leeds for 6 of those years. So I'm going to talk a little bit today about the third sector and also the work that Home Start Leeds does as part of the First 1,000 Days agenda. So Leeds has more than 3,000 organisations working to make a difference in the neighbourhoods amongst communities of interest and on specific issues, including family support. The third sector in Leeds is supported by strong local infrastructure, which includes Forum Central, Voluntary Action Leeds, along with local funders such as Leeds Community Foundation. And the third sector is well connected with representation at citywide forums such as the Health and Wellbeing Board and the Children and Families Population Health Board. The sector also has its own informal networks for strategy discussions and decision making, including Young Life Leeds, which is hosted by Voluntary Action Leeds. Young Life Leeds is a strategy and development partnership established for third sector organisations that work with children, young people and their families, which aims to improve partnership and joint working across the sector and support improvement and act as a point of contact for partner agencies engaged in the third sector. There is a membership of 600 organisations and Home Start Leeds is one of them. So Home Start Leeds, we're an independent charity. There is National Home Start that some of you will be aware of, but each individual Home Start is its own charity. And we were launched here in Leeds in 1987 to support families struggling with life's complexities. And we only just recently had 2 of our original trustees retire, and they've been with us since 1987. And they didn't think they'd still be seeing in Leeds today or across the country the struggles that families are having bringing up their children with the complexities of life. So we work across the local authority area, but mainly in the inner wards that Catherine described on her map in the previous presentation, the purple area of the city, supporting families in their homes to ensure the best possible outcomes for children. Our work is delivered by an experienced coordinator and a home visiting volunteer, and we work with families rather than telling them what to do, as we recognise that each individual has their own strengths that we can support to achieve good outcomes for their children. But over recent years, a trend has been developing, and we are finding more families need working with before we can place a volunteer, as there is a need to build trust. And this trust can be due to them being a parent, experiences such as adverse childhood experiences. They can be survivors of abuse. A majority have some level of mental health illness, and many of the children that we support live with at least one of the toxic trio in the household. So what do we do as part of the 1,000 days? Well, we support families with children with at least 1 child up to the age of 7. But a majority of our work is within that first 1,000 days. And we rarely work alone, and we're often part of a family support package in a multi-agency approach, including those from the statutory and third sector. So our first area is one that we're really excited to be developing, which is our perinatal offer: preconception, conception, pregnancy, birth and postnatal. We find that parents, especially new parents, are people that come from many places, and they sometimes have extraordinary backstories, yet they have a common struggles and they can't just get on with it, as some people tell them in their own families. Our services recognise that each parent-to-be and parent has a different experience of conception and birth and often needs support. So our really exciting Leeds Doula project, I've put a lot about it on there. We're really proud of this. It's a first here in Leeds, and we're supporting mums 6 weeks either side of birth. And mums are identified through our great colleagues at the Leeds Maternity Services, who are in the crowd here today. I'll just give them a shout up. And the criteria is of being at risk from poor maternal outcomes, and that includes those newly arrived to the country from our diverse communities and those living in deprivation. And supporting mum in this early phase, as we've already heard today, is crucial to bonding and baby development. And we see this as a key part of the city's early years offer, especially with the need to improve maternal outcomes. But, and I think as Catherine mentioned, struggling for funding is always an issue with these services. And we know at the moment we are a pilot. And the health inequalities money to the city is at risk for the next financial year. So we're going to do everything we can to try and fight to keep this service going, because we know how important it is. Next is our perinatal support service. So that's basically, again, from pre-birth, but normally we find from 6 weeks after birth to 2 years. And in this family cohort, we see strains on parental, mental and physical well-being that can impact on caring and baby development. So we work to support mums in the homes with routines, accessing services to help loneliness, baby socialising and more. We currently run a mum and baby swim group, and we are seeking a second pool in the city to expand this service. But we also recognise that the first 1,000 days is about dad, and that perinatal dads is a little understood area, and service provision is quite limited, as services are often centred around mum. And through our Dads Matters work stream, we work with dads from preconception to 2 years. Dads seek support around their anxieties, which can be due to poor perinatal experiences, including being able to bond with baby due to traumatic birth experiences or a previous loss, or issues around their own childhood. And our lived experience Dad Matters coordinators hold dad chats where they share experiences and provide information so that dad can play an important part in looking after baby and their development. And although we're mainly here in Leeds, we have just expanded our service to Calderdale, and we are funded there through the Department for Education Start for Life programme. So that's a really exciting new area of work for us, working in the family hubs. So the next area is we do creep into the post 2 years, but it feeds in from the previous services. So we have our parent-to-parent service. This is probably our biggest service at the moment. And we used to support families with low levels of poor mental ill health, but it's moved on to medium and complex. People often have social care issues, and deprivation is a key issue with this group of families. Many of the families are already engaged with statutory services, and they come with early help, child in need and child protection plans. So we act as part of a multi-agency approach. And in this area, we find homes in chaos, dirty and poorly maintained, often lacking furnishings and other essentials, and also essentials for children, including winter clothing. We give out food vouchers, fuel vouchers, and we access small grants for families where we can. And we help with those home conditions, but we also help parents to engage with local services to support their children's development, including playgroups, nursery and third sector colleagues. And then finally, onto our third stream of work. We realise and we want families to succeed, but we know occasionally that they don't. So we actually have a kinship and reunification service, and kinship area is a lot that many people don't know about. So it's where a family or a friend looks after a child, which can be an informal family agreement or it can be through the legal system. But being a kinship carer can come with strains both financially and emotionally. So imagine the kids are left home, you're nicely settled, and suddenly 3 grandchildren arrive. You've got no furniture, you've got no clothing, and you probably haven't got the IT they need. So our Family Ties service supports kinship carers to understand the systems and services, helps provide needed items and helps with emotional support so the carer can concentrate on supporting the child rather than worrying about how they will manage. But to complement that, we also work with reunification parents. So the parents who've had the child removed either into statutory care or kinship care, about preparing them to have the child back into the home, which is the best place for them, and then to keep them there. So I hope that explains our services. So just to conclude, the third sector in Leeds works together and plays a huge part in the first 1,000 days agenda. which is not only beneficial for the child and family, but as old academic research shows, can have huge societal savings. We all work with an aim for Leeds children to have a loving, warm, clean environment to thrive with adequate resources. But the sector struggles in achieving its aims due to funding models, which means services come and go, leaving gaps, and then often support is only available when crisis point is reached. The third sector recognises that when a child misses their targets 1, 3, 5 and beyond, they are more likely to live as an adult in indices of multiple deprivation, resulting in reduced life expectancies of up to 10 years. So the third sector welcomes this initiative, and we're keen to play a part in its delivery. And we know firsthand how important it is to life outcomes. And I think, as Anne said earlier on when she spoke, we do need a revolution, but not just in Leeds, across the country. And I know my colleagues in Home Start across the country feel this way too. So thank you very much for your time.